Hello, everyone. I found this week to be very enlightening, and I look forward to what everybody else has to say. So, the first question is how can a culture of nice potentially affect power dynamics and potentially add to a toxic work environment for marginalized library workers? So, I think it's important to talk about what the notion that Alma Ortega put forth in the podcast that she was on, this idea that libraries are these positive institutions in which people visit in order to garner new knowledge and try to better themselves. And Carlton Green brought up this relationship of the culture of nice and race and how they kind of work in tandem with one another to keep the status quo. And ultimately, that keeps marginalized folks down. So, what both of these ideas have in common is that they are trying to keep the peace. And it keeps the library from being anything but a positive institution. And ultimately, this results in denying marginalized folks the right to voice their concerns and discomfort. There is this feeling of denial where they blame themselves, thinking that they're being too sensitive or that they're into things too much. And now that that toxic work environment has been established, whether it be consciously or unconsciously, there is this false sense of harmony because nobody wants to speak out. For example, to paraphrase what Carlton Green was speaking about, this idea that if marginalized folks challenge what a white person said when the white person was being nice, it will paint them as an aggressor. So it further contributes to the toxic work environment and ultimately contributes to this vicious cycle that just doesn't seem to end. So, as a result, for no one speaking out, this newly created work environment can lead to policies and procedure that affect library workers and patrons alike. Because nobody wants to speak out and potentially get labeled as like an aggressor, library board members are none the wiser. So policy manuals, they seem to not get updated as much as they should. There's that if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. So because nobody is speaking up and bringing concerns up, they're not going to be changing these policies or being in tune with what is going on. And libraries are such dynamic places that there's constant change. And now that these policies aren't being acknowledged, there's no way to, see what harm it's doing to both patrons and to the library workers. And speaking to policies, I actually had the opportunity to read through my library's policies, and I found one that really stuck out to me. It had to do with printing. It was number 7. So we have so many different people from different walks of life that come to our library. And this is a service that librarians don't have control over. And it can lead to, this sense of patrons not being able to access these services because they don't have the money to pay for them. So what I would propose is the first 5 pages should be free of charge. And if the document is more than pages and a patron cannot pay for them, I believe it should be up to the discretion of the librarian working and circulation, since they deal with money, to reach a fair decision on what to do. I think that because it gives those patrons the opportunity to actually access these services that can help better, their situation or whatever it is that they want to print out or work with. So I'm looking forward to what everybody else has to say this week in regards to our assignment. Thank you for listening.